Welcome to Backstage with Becca B, with special guest Marie Eife. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Backstage with Becca B. On this episode, she's currently part of the second national tour of Wicked, where she's in the ensemble and is also an understudy for Elphaba. She's previously starred as DJ Tanner in Full House the Musical, played Mary Poppins on the Disney Cruise Line, Susan in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe in Syracuse, and more. Please welcome Marie Eife.
What is up? How are you?
Good. How are you? I love the hat.
I had to wear it for at least the beginning because we are back in Oz.
Oh my goodness. When I saw people posting that hat, I was like, okay, how do I get someone to send me one? Like, someone hook me up because, wow, those are cute. I would buy those for I'm telling you, if they sold those at merch.
All right, you heard it from Becca, everyone. If you sold these at merch.
Yeah.
Wicked, get down, let's go.
Yes, please. So how are you doing this morning?
Good morning. I just wanted to say I'm so happy to be here. I just woke up about an hour ago, so here we are. I'm so happy to spend my morning tea with you. Thank you for your patience while we figured out when we wanted to do this.
Of course, life is busy. Life is crazy.
Yeah, it's just been so interesting, getting back into the full swing of things, because we have the 8 shows and then we also have rehearsals. And then also it's the transition of getting your tour legs back and you know what I mean?
Yeah, which the summer also got pretty crazy too. And I took a break from this interview series for a bit and for longer than I really wanted to. So
yeah, I watched your interviews and they're fabulous. I love them.
Well, I was like, I need to bring it back because I can't just stop doing it in general.
Well, so, you're back to Becca.
Yes, that hat is perfect for both occasions.
Exactly.
So, getting started, have you always known that you wanted to be a theater performer and be in the entertainment industry?
Yeah, I mean, here, it's time to unveil.
Your jacket's so cute too.
Oh yeah, it's Texas, baby.
Oh my goodness.
We're going with themes today. We got Back for Good. We got Texas themes.
Yes.
So yeah, when I first started, I actually had no idea that I could sing. Actually, I had no idea I wanted to be a performer. I come from a family that doesn't do musical theater, none of them do. And I was sort of the red sheep of the family. I'm the only redhead. And, it was just I came out tap dancing. And then it was around 8th grade, I was also playing basketball and doing other sports, because I really loved sports too. And they were like, will you sing The Little Mermaid for the 8th grade play? And I was like, just because I have red hair, I don't sing. And I did. And I got really into because I was in the choir at church and I did some of that, but I'd never sang a solo before. And I did it and I loved it. And then as high school went on, I was like, Mom, I don't think I want to do sports anymore. I think I want to do theater. And we just happened to have a really good program. It's called Off-Broadway Summer Stage in our area and also my high school shows. So I got really immersed in it. And then I decided I wanted to do it professionally when I saw Wicked, my first Broadway show, my junior year of high school. Wow.
Wow. Full circle. It's come full circle since then.
It really has. This was the show where I my mom tells me that I turned to her and I after The Wizard and I was like, I'm gonna do this. Yeah. And she said that I had this look in my eye that was like, this is happening, okay?
Yes.
So here we are. Yeah. That was in 2007. So
and here we are in 2021.
Yeah.
Yes. Who's the
that person? Doesn't give away my age.
Who's the person who really was you should do this for a career. Like, it's fine if you don't do sports anymore. Like, you're great at singing. You should do this.
Well, I didn't really have any, like for a while, like my family was like, Marie, like you need to go get a real job, like they're all mathematicians and engineers, so they see the world in a different way. Yeah. And which is totally fine, but they just didn't understand that this could be a career and like what it could be, like, and I remember going to like my job counselor in at Prendy, the high school that I went to, and he was like, so what are the 3 jobs that you want to do? And I was like, I'm going to be a professional musical theater actress. And he was like, what are like maybe some nursing, maybe you could do communications. And I was like, no, I'm going to be on the stage. And I remember him looking at me like I had 5 heads, but I did it. So
hey, have you talked to him since and been like, hey, I actually did it?
I don't even remember his name, weirdly. I remember because he was just like a job counselor. He wasn't like a teacher, but I remember his face really well. Does that happen to you? Where sometimes. I feel like I really remember people's faces, but their names, I'm like, nope, couldn't tell you. But also high school is sort of like, I don't really remember much from it. Like I remember some teachers that really shaped me, but I was happy to go to college.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm more of a name. I'm actually a name person. I came home. My mom used to tell me I came home from like school and told her who everyone in my class was when I was like 3 years old.
I love that.
She was like, what?
See, it takes me some time to learn the names. I'm like, you.
Yeah, sometimes I have to be like that and I feel so bad, but like I think everyone has to do that sometimes.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah.
So this was later in my questions when I was going to get into Wicked, but since you mentioned Wicked was your first theater show, do you remember? Yeah. Or your first professional theater show? Who was the first Elphaba and Glinda you saw in Wicked?
So I saw Shoshana and Megan. And the woman from Golden Girls was Madame Morrible, again, blanking on her name. And then, get this, Ben Vereen was my wizard. And fun fact, my mom, like when she went to go see her first Broadway show with my grandmother, they saw Pippin with Ben Vereen as the leading player in her first Broadway show.
Hey!
I literally was like, Mom!
The chances of that.
I know. So I just, that was my first Wicked cast. It was just everything. I went to Behind the Emerald Curtain after, and I was like, how does the broom work? What does Dr. Dillerman eat? I was like, how does she fly? And they're like, you'll have to book it to find out. And the first thing I did when I got to that stage, I went up to Matt Bilton, who's in charge of like all the backstage stuff, and I was like, yo, what is the paper that Dr. Dillerman eats? Can I eat some?
Oh my goodness. Wait, did he tell you?
Yeah, it's just like rice paper. And it like weirdly tastes very bland and boring, but I did eat it. So
okay,
that was for my inner child.
That makes sense though, because like I'm always like, paper does not taste good, and you can't really like consume paper.
No, this one like it like melts in your mouth. So like as you're eating it, it like slowly like melts away, and you have to like chew it like you're chewing paper. Yeah.
Ooh. Craziness.
A little Dr. Dillerman tip.
Craziness. So what was the first theater show you were in when you realized that this was something that you could do and go on to do professionally?
Like my high school first show, or like my first professional show?
Either, whichever like was like an eye-opener for you.
Well, I mean, high school was like amazing. I did 2 shows a year during the school year, one at the girls' school and one at the boys' school. And then I additionally did 3 shows over the summer at Upper Darby Summer Stage. And it sometimes added up to like 4 or 5 because we had like the one acts and the dance troops, but I don't really, those are like half shows, you know, because they're like little bitties. But I also worked professionally like in the city of Philadelphia. So I would do a bunch of stuff in high school. I guess like the coolest like first professional job I had where I really learned a lot was when I worked at theater at Monmouth in Maine. I got my EMC card, and for those of you who are listening, that is your equity membership candidate card. Sorry, wow, but gotta. It's a little early for my list.
Early.
But yeah, that's your equity membership candidate card. And I did like a whole summer of Shakespeare, and we did this play called Room Service, which is really funny. And I just learned a lot about myself that summer, and it like really just like started to be my authentic self. Like, not that I wasn't before, but I really began to understand like who I was and like what I loved, and like Shakespeare really helped that for me. Like I really loved that summer, and I'll hold it in my heart. Theater at Monmouth, love ya. So yeah, that was like my first big one where I was like, yeah, I can do this. And like I think as I went along, I want to do other things too. Like stage work isn't it. Like I want to do some TV and film, not only as an actor, but I also want to do cinematography and direction. And like I dabble in writing.
Oh
so
my goodness.
you know, like I really want to be on the other side too, eventually, but I also want to experience this world and like continue to learn my actor craft as I continue to go on this journey.
Hey, you could do everything.
Exactly, girl. That's what we like to hear.
Yes.
We can do it all and everything.
You could write a show for yourself, or write a movie for yourself, write like a movie musical for yourself to star in.
Okay, because I'm thinking a little Amy Adams in That's How You Know.
Hey, yes. Yes, that'd be amazing.
Wasn't that such a good movie?
Oh my goodness, I need that on Broadway.
I do too. I don't know if it would go well though on Broadway. Like, how would they do that?
I mean, I feel like they could figure something out and like add songs and
yeah, maybe like, because I guess the coolest part is like how she goes from cartoon to real life.
That's true.
So you could animate and like do screens in the beginning. I don't know. We can let them figure it out.
But I mean, I feel like there's so much that they have figured out on Broadway, like creatively.
True. This is right.
Could figure out like there's a lot of tools and
well, we have a lot of screens now, which is
that too
bittersweet.
Yes. I mean, I know those screens have to be like super expensive for a show.
Yeah,
Increase the budget a lot, but
I like there's something about a real set though that I really miss when it's just screens.
Yeah.
Like I've been in shows where we've done like visual screen stuff. Like in college I was in this show called A New Brain, and it was lots of visual stuff, and it's super cool because it's like, you know, he's having hallucinations and you can't make those real sometimes. I mean, you could, but like, you know, you want to make it extra with the screens. But there's just something about a real set that I just really love, you know?
Yeah, like even if it's minimal.
Exactly. Anyway, I got real off topic there. Woo!
No, but I agree completely. So before I get into Wicked, I want to talk about Full House, the musical, because you're in that, and you played DJ Tanner, and I don't think I was born when Full House came out, but I did watch Full House growing up on like Nick at Night and stuff, and I was a huge Olsen twin fan, etc. So like Full House is everything to me. What was that like, getting to be a part of that, and how did you get involved with Full House musical?
So I had just gotten off a gig with Disney Cruise Line, and I loved doing that. That was really fun. And I came back to New York, and it was like a year out of college, and I was like, I guess I better start auditioning and like doing this. And I had an agent at the time. I actually just signed with an agency, and then my friend John Duff was like, yo, I hear you just got back, like my friends are doing this off-Broadway musical called Bayside the Musical, and we want you to be in it. And I was like, okay. And so I went and I like sang a little bit, and they're like, great, you're hired. So I was the swing for that show. Ooh. Which is a spoof off of Saved by the Bell, which is way before your time.
But I know it.
Yes. So there was that. And then I swung all the girls, Kelly Kapowski, I did Becky the Duck, I did Tori Spelling, I did the spiritual advisor.
Oh my goodness.
That Zach has. And it's like, you know, it was so fun. And I did that for about like 7 months, and the same writers of that musical were writing Full House the musical, and they were like, yo, you want to be our DJ Tanner? And I was like, absolutely.
Yes.
So it was super fun. I loved the cast so much. Perez Hilton was our dad for a really long time, which is really funny. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's like, so he's great, and he's super funny, and it was just like a blast to work with them. And I did that for about like a year and a half. I did both. We did like 5 show weekends where we would do Bayside and then Full House, Bayside, Full House. So it was like them in rep. Yeah.
How do you like memorize that much and like keep track of those of 2 shows at the same time in your brain, like on top of like you're swinging a ton of roles?
Yeah, I mean, you just do it enough. You just do it enough that you're like, all right, I got it. You know what I mean? And it was such a goofy show that like if you made a mistake, it was like funny because it was so like goofy. That's the only way I could put it. It was like slightly improv, slightly constructed, but if you made a mistake, the audience was in on it with you, and it was like very intimate. So it was a good time. I learned a lot about comedy during that time and about swinging. That was like the first time that I had really swung. It's not easy. I have so much respect for Swing Nation because it is very difficult. And our swings in Wicked are rock stars. Like some of those swings do like 9 tracks, and I am literally like, how do you guys do it? Because I couldn't.
I've talked to a couple of swings. I've talked to Michaela on this, and I've talked to Natalie Wisdom from Frozen, and like they like I don't understand understudies too though. Like it's crazy.
It's like a sort of a different beast, you know, like understudies, like I can do one role and do an ensemble track and be good. I could even do like, I could understudy 2 roles, but like I could do that. But anything more than that for a show this big, I would be a little like, I could do it, but I would be like needing a depends. You know what I mean?
Oh, my brain, if you gave me a dance track and you gave me lines, I would be like, nah, I can't do this.
See, like lines and music are fine. When you start giving me like dancing, I'm like, I'm a dancer in the second row of an audition. But if you give me 9 dancer tracks up so you think you can dance, I'm out.
No. I was gonna say, when you were talking about Full House, it was a parody type thing, right?
It was 100% a parody, and there were lots of fun songs in there.
Yeah, if people from LA are gonna like start contacting you and being like, so after Wicked, do you want to be in our parody show? Because I used to go to those all the time.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah, there was a place called, it closed down now, but there was a place called Rockwell.
Yes.
And I used to go to all those shows, and
they're so fun, right?
I would be there every weekend. Like when the pandemic started and I wasn't at like 3 theater shows a week, I was like, what do I do? I don't
you're like, how do I even move on from this?
I don't know how to live anymore. And I was like, I need to talk about theater. So I brought this.
I love that you started this from that, because it's all about adapting, right?
Yes.
It's all about learning how to grow from things that challenge you. And like, you know,
Exactly.
this year and a half was really challenging for everyone. And we all had to learn different skills and learn how to adapt and grow as people. And I think that there's some good in that, you know, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I'm so happy to be sitting here with you on Becca Talks. Oh.
So I want to talk about Wicked. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so cool. You mentioned the Disney Cruise Line and everything, and like that must have been a dream come true. But I want to talk about Wicked because
Please.
oh my god, so huge, full circle moment for you. What was your audition like for Wicked? When did you get the audition for Wicked?
It was like a really long process, but that's how it is for everyone, you know, like they really invest in people when they're like going out and looking for people. So the first time that I sang for it was in 2015. And I actually was singing in a class and working with the resident director.
Ooh.
And I prepared Nessa. I wanted to do Elphaba, but there were a lot of Elphabas in the class. And the teacher was like, I think you're more Vanessa, like go for it. And I was like, okay, cool. Okay. And like did like the Wicked Witch of the East. I was like, we deserve each other. And the resident director was like, I think you're more of an Elphaba. And I was like, I can sing The Wizard and I for you right now.
I'm ready. I've been ready.
I'm ready. And I did it. And it wasn't perfect, but like I slayed, I committed, you know, there was still a lot to learn. And since then I got called in and I did the packet for them shortly after that from the class, and it went really well. But they told my agent like, hey, she should keep doing shows, she should keep working, like this is great. And then I'm like blanking on my entire story now. Then a couple of years passed by. I did some regional professional gigs. I did some national, non-union national tours. I did 3 actually. I learned a lot. I was ensemble, but then I was the principals of a couple. So, you know, like you learn a lot just being on the road and like growing as a human being. And then they were like, hey, do you want to come back in? And I said, absolutely. Came in and totally bombed my audition. Like really, like bombed. Like I was in the no pile for sure. I was just so nervous. Like I had my crystals. I was like, hi, my name's Marie. Like, cause it was just like so important to me. And Chelsea, like at the time, like I hadn't been in Chelsea, like the new building too much. That's the audition building. And I was just like a little nervous, you know. And then I had, weirdly coincidentally, because I took a lot of classes at the growing studio and just in general, because you have to continue to meet people and like learn about your craft and grow. So I was at a Wicked class about an hour after the audition with that same resident director. And I did the whole packet. And at the time I started the class and I was like, hey, I just went in and I bombed it. And she was like, oh, you did? And I was like, yeah, it was really bad. I was like, but I want to show you like what I can do now. Yeah. And I did it. And I just like remember everyone like sitting on the edge of their seat and being like, and I got a call back from that class.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And that's just a testament to like, we're not robots and we can't like all be perfect. And sometimes nerves do get in the way no matter, because I was like 28, so you know what I mean?
Like how much you've done it, like nerves always get in the way.
Yeah, especially when it's like something that you really want, you know? So you have to have your mantra, but then I kept going in a bunch after that for callbacks. And then finally, the day before my birthday, 2019, I was in a Frozen class about to sing Elsa for the music director. And I was like about to sing Let It Go, and my agent calls. And I was like, oh, I better get this. And at the time I was also in Legally Blonde at the Argyle. So I was like doing a bunch of stuff in New York. And my agent was like, you got it. And I was like, what? I was like, she's like, you're leaving in 14 hours tomorrow on your birthday. And I was like, I have 5 side jobs. She goes, you have to quit them all. And I was like, I'm in a class. And she was like, you're going to have to leave.
Oh my goodness gracious.
So I get back to the class and I don't say anything. I'm literally in shock. I'm sitting around all my friends, people that I love, you know, we're all singing Frozen. And finally, they're like, Marie, you're next. And I'm still in shock. Like, this is right after I got the call. And I stand up and I don't say anything because I don't want to be like, yeah, I just booked Wicked and then like bomb the song. So I was like, here's Let It Go. And I literally transformed into Elsa. I was like, my powers flurry through the, I was like giving you the handography. I was spinning. I was living my life. And then afterwards, she was like, so how do you feel? And I literally was like, and I started crying and I was like, I'm so sorry. I just booked Wicked and I like literally can't breathe. And everyone in the class got up and like gave me a group hug when that was allowed. And it was just like this most like joyous moment that I've ever had. Like all these people like working so hard to get these auditions, to get these roles. And they like all embraced me. Everyone was so happy to see me off. I quit my 5 side jobs and then packed my tour bags. The next day I left on my birthday. I had to stop and get fitted for my costumes at the Wicked surplus. And I got all of my Wicked Elphie pink beret costumes tried on. And then I flew to Vegas, just got there at 6:30, or it was like right before the show. Got to the Wicked stage and watched the Wicked tour with Clavant Derrick sitting next to me on my birthday. And that was my first day.
So you all got like cast together at the same time for the show, kind of.
Yeah, me and Clavant were cast at the same time.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, so we were there together, like watching, because when you get there, you see the show first before you start rehearsals.
Oh my goodness. It happened so fast.
15 hours notice.
Like the audition process obviously takes a bit longer, but like when they book you, they're like, you're leaving tomorrow. See you there.
Yeah, it's like they bring you in, and then like once they know that you're ready, they're like, you're coming out right now.
You're like, okay, can I get the magic wand to help me pack?
Oh, I was a pro at packing at this point because I had done so many like regional gigs and non-union tours that like I literally was like, I got this in the bag, you know.
I feel like that's probably like one of the most beneficial things that you can learn from touring and from like doing work regional theater wise around the country is how to pack.
Well, yeah, and how to like also carry yourself professionally, because sometimes when people book big jobs like right out of school, you still have a lot to learn, you know. And I felt really grateful for the people who have taught me so much and how to be like a professional in this business and how to carry myself as a young woman, you know. So I felt ready.
It's so true, because when you graduate from college, you're what, like 22, 23? You're still
I was 20.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I went to school early.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're still so young. You're like, like you're technically an adult, but it's still like 18 is when you're officially an adult. So like 20 is so young.
I mean, how old are you?
I'm 28.
You're 28? Oh my god, I thought you were like 23, girl. Okay.
Yes.
What kid stuff are you using?
Oh my goodness. Everyone's like, can I like check your ID again?
Yeah, you're gonna be ID'd for life. I love that.
I mean, I don't even drink. I just go to like shows at bars and stuff, and like they're like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah.
Wait, so what happens when you go to a show that like requires a 2-drink minimum? Do you fall into that?
Oh, no. I don't even drink soda or anything. So I'm like,
yes.
I just like, I drink water, and like if they have coffee or something, like sure, I'll do that. But I
don't go to the duplex then in New York City because they're gonna be charging you for those drinks.
sometimes they have charged me a little, like for like one, and I'm like, nah, it's fine. Like
it's fine.
Yeah, like it's the least I can do. Like it helps the venue. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Oh, you're so sweet.
I mean, so how quickly after you kind of got into this, how quickly after getting cast do you like start rehearsal processes for the show, and how fast were you able to pick up all the dances and for your track?
So I had a really unique case. I came out, someone was injured and I came out on an injury replacement contract. And that means I'm only there for a short amount of time while this person is healing from their injury. So I only had a 2-month contract to do everything.
Oh my goodness.
At first. Yeah. So I came in and learned Elphaba in like a week and 6 days. It was really fast. And then I learned Pink Beret in like 5.5 days. And when I was learning Ozdust, like the last 12 counts, I can do it just fine. Like it's totally fine. But some reason, like learning the counts and like knowing that I had to go on stage the next night, I cried. I definitely cried. I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. I was like, can my brain even handle it? Because I will admit to you that I have never rehearsed and done a put-in without anyone else there. And I never had experience rehearsing with just the dance captain to put someone into a show that's been running for a really long time. Because regionally, you're rehearsing together, you do the show for a couple months. On the non-union tours, we all rehearse together, we put the show up, we finish the show, this was the first time for me, and they don't really teach this in colleges. So I didn't really know the extent of it, but we get there and like, you're learning it from the dance captain, and they're teaching you like, hey, so when you come out with the umbrella for Emerald City, you're going to be on 10 track 1. You're going to pump it 3 times, turn over your right shoulder, but you have to watch Ponytail, who's Hayden. And then you have to watch for Palm Tree. And like, you're literally like learning the nicknames for the tracks. Cause like Pink Beret is my nickname for my ensemble track. And you're learning people's names, which that I'm not good at. You're learning all the lines, cause like I only knew the packet at this point. Like I only knew the audition sides. I didn't know like the rest of the role. So like, it's big.
Track has solos.
Yeah, well, the solos are fine. It's more like just getting used to and navigating, learning it with no one and imagining those people going through and then doing the spacing and being like, oh, that's who you are. And like, as you're doing it, and then you're just on, and then you're like, oh my God, there's fog. There's costumes that are really heavy. I got an umbrella. I got a drink. I got a torch. Like you're like, whoa.
Yeah. So you're getting.
It all ended up really great. Like it was all good. I went into the show in NOLA, and I was about to have my Elphaba put in, and then the building collapsed in NOLA.
I remember that.
And so we had to postpone it to like my last week of Atlanta. And then I did my put in, and I was like, and then I left the tour, and I was like, oh my God, like, am I ever gonna be back? And then I went back in January. But it was just like, it's like it happens the way that it needs to happen. And like, I'm so grateful for like the time that I had at first. And I'm so grateful to be back, because it's so true. Like once a munchkin, always a munchkin. Like the producers are investing in you. They want you to learn this. So like, you just have to trust that and like go with it, and just trust that, I love this cast. I love this company. Like they really have your back. So even though it was like sort of shocking and like took a minute to get used to, I really felt like safe. the entire time, you know, but I'm not going to sit here and say that it was easy in any regard.
I mean, no, it's a process. You have to work so hard. And I mean, the audition process, as you were mentioning, takes a while. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the casting team for Wicked is so good at putting together like the right group at the right time for this show, which is one of the reasons this show has gone on for as long as it has, both on tour and on Broadway.
Yeah. I mean, Telsey and the team, all the resident directors, the music team, like we got some really good, amazing people that we got to work with during rehearsals here. Like we got to work with the original team. Like Joe Mantello came out for rehearsals. Lisa Leguio, the resident director, was out. Stephen Aremus was out, you know, and he was like musically directing us, which was super cool because Stephen Aremus, you know what I mean?
It's like reopening the show.
Yeah, and like, you know, it's like even cooler because, you know, when you're put into a show, the show has been running for a while. So these people have moments and like you define your way into it and find your moments with the people now. But there was something about rehearsing with everyone that is so special, you know? Yeah. And like we are like very connected now as like a group. Not that we weren't before, but it's hard to keep evolving it when new people are coming in sometimes. And like it takes a minute, but like doing it with everyone and finding the new stuff and like really listening, doing the moment to moment, it was super cool to do that with the original team and with this cast specifically because it's just such a great cast, you know? So
I don't know if I'm crazy or not, but from seeing it here, I think maybe some of it was reblocked a little bit.
Very minimally, like very little, like for good, like the witches are a little bit more upstage instead of downstage, but it's really funny that you noticed that.
Well, I especially was Morrible at the bottom of the stage.
Oh, they added that Morrible thing. Yeah,
during at the beginning of Defying Gravity.
It's pretty scary, right?
And I was like, wait a sec.
It's scary in like a good way, right?
I was like, that wasn't there before.
No, that's new. What else is new? I mean, it's very little. Like, yeah, maybe like we moved from like an 8 to a 10, or like, you know what I mean?
There were definitely things that, like, I'm sure other people who have seen Wicked like 1,000 times.
A bunch new.
But like, I was like, I think that's different. But like, just
that one is different. You clocked that.
Like, I'm like, I think these things are different by like just like a little step or something.
Well, the Madame Morrible thing, I think she was like kind of in the dark before, and they wanted to like elevate her and like make it like Wicked, you know, like they wanted to make her cuckoo, you know.
Yeah, and it's less obstructed, I think, for people who are, well, I mean, kind of in a way like less obstructed for people who are sitting on the side with the platform.
Yeah.
Because the platform kind of comes out all the way, which
it's hard. Good. It's hard for tour because each theater is truly different. Yeah. So we really do have to adjust because all these theaters are way bigger than the Gershwin.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what was your debut in Wicked like? Do you remember the day you made your debut in the ensemble for Wicked?
I do, but like I was just talking about this the other day when we were like getting ready for Act 2. But that's my umbrella. That's my Act 2. But yeah, it's just like kind of a blur, you know, like you're so focused and so like, I'm going to be here. I'm not going to hit this person when I'm like pumping the umbrella. Like, you know, like it really is like, once you get it, it's fine. But like when you're entering it, it definitely is a rush. So like, I remember it, but at the same time, I sort of blacked out a little bit because you're like doing Loathing and you're like, oh my God, I'm doing Loathing. And then all of a sudden it's at the end of the number and you're like,
What's happening? Yeah.
How did I get here?
Like, that was so fast. What?
Yeah.
And then, like, sometimes I'm like, do you all like ever, because the orchestra changes, like where the orchestra is changes at different theaters. So I'm like,
Yeah.
do you all ever have to like be like, don't fall into the orchestra pit, don't fall into the orchestra pit?
I mean, no matter what theater we're at, I feel like I'm always saying that to myself. On The Witch of the West is dead. Boom. Like when we hit that cog and like my foot is like literally this far away from the end. And the fog's there, so I can't really see it. I'm like, I hope I don't fall, and I won't, because I'm not, and I'm gonna spin this ribbon around. Yeah. Like you.
You're like, hopefully the conductor will catch me if I fall.
Yeah. Well, there's a net there. I'm like, has this been tested for like what weight has been thrown onto this? Like, will this catch me if I fall? Oh my God, I'm knocking on wood because I cannot fall into that pit.
No. So, am I correct? You said you haven't made your Elphaba debut yet.
I haven't, because technically I've only been on the tour pre-pandemic for 4.5 months total.
Oh my goodness. So,
but I'm celebrating my 2-year anniversary in 9 days of joining Wicked. Isn't that funny?
Yes. I mean, time flies.
I mean, pandemic life, right?
Yeah. Yes. So, but you rehearse constantly for Elphaba during the week. How does that work? Rehearsal processes for a role that you haven't done yet, but you are preparing to do.
Yeah, so I felt like, after you're put in, you are good to go. Like that is the time that you have. But what's cool is that when new people circulate in, they need to rehearse those people and do what we call put in. And so for put-ins, they rehearse the understudies and also the standby, like Natalia can pop in too, but she's already been on a couple of times. So like Natalia's slaying with no rehearsal. Like I love that Bambino. And Talia did the whole tech process as Elphaba too, which was like so incredible. Like I'm literally blown away by her all the time. But she did that entire tech process as Elphaba, which is very difficult, like very, very hard, and takes a lot of stamina, especially coming out of a pandemic. But what's cool about the understudy situation is that like the past 3 weeks, I've just gotten to revisit Elphaba with both sets of understudies to really just get the rehearsal and not just like, not to just do like, hey, now I stand here and now I'm saying this line. Like I've been able to get like really specific with the moments and with the people, the other understudies, and it's different with each pairing. So it's just been really, really amazing to like try different things and like find what works for me, what my authentic Elphaba is, because it's different for everyone, which is really cool about this role. And I'm so grateful, truly. Like I've just been so incredibly happy to be back at work and to be doing like my dream, like this show is my dream, like since I was 13 years old. So I'm just, any opportunity to work on it is amazing, but also being in the ensemble and doing the show 8 times a week and like really having those magic moments is just like, I love it. I love it all,
Yes. And I mean, I'm like, honestly, in all honesty, I envy whoever gets to see your Elphaba debut, because like, as you mentioned, it's so different when different people go on as Elphaba, and I love that. I love the magic of live theater, getting to see different people in different roles.
Yeah.
My mom is like, why do you go to these shows so much? And I'm like, because you get to, like, it's never the same.
Live theater is very live.
Even the same people are on, the audience plays a part in it. It's just like, the energy is always different. Nothing is ever the same. And it's so special every night.
Exactly. And especially with this group, like I literally can't say it enough. Like these people are amazing and everyone is so talented. It's like mind blowing to be surrounded by such talented people, and like just grateful every day.
How do you think you're like Elphaba, and how do you think you're different from Elphaba?
I'm sorry, I have so many thoughts on that one. I'm very much, I don't even know how to answer this. I have similar life experiences to Elfie. I definitely was bullied, like, a little bit growing up, but who wasn't? You know what I mean? But the red hair thing, being a gay woman, I like feel like that's also part of it sometimes. Also just like, I'm trying to like think of like other things. I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking of very specific things that I probably shouldn't say on this podcast. So that's pretty much where I'll stop.
I mean, people are so cruel. How could people bully you? Like,
Well,
for hair, for being different? That's so rude.
Yeah, but like it happens. Like my family sort of did sometimes because they would be like, you do musical theater, you know what I mean? And like I love them so much, but that was hard growing up, and like I think everyone deals with that on some level with like different microaggressions and like passive aggressive energy. And what you have to know is that it's mostly a reflection of that person's insecurity, but when you're growing up you think it has to do with you know. So other ways that I'm different from Elphaba, it took me a minute to find my act 2 Elphaba, I will say.
Okay.
Like when I first came out to the tour, act 1 Elphaba, bam, like I was bright-eyed, I was ready for the Wizard and I, and then I really grew into myself during this pandemic, like in a way I think we all did. And I found my act 2 Elphaba from this year, and taking a break from and stepping away from what I love so much and like what I identified as. Like I put too much self-worth into my job, and I had to find that in other places, as I'm sure many other people did. And it made me dig deeper than I ever have with my self-work, with my inner child work, with like my shadow work,
Yes.
And I grew, which, happens. You never stop growing. It never ends. But it was just like a big growth, like, and I feel like now I have that act 2 Elphaba, and I really understand that. And I feel more grounded within myself to like hold that energy on stage for no good deed and like all that stuff. So I think that's pretty cool. And like, that's just something I've discovered the past few weeks. Just doing the rehearsals. I'm like, whoa, that's really different and really cool,
I feel like the you never stop growing thing is so important, especially for like young up and coming kids that are like just starting even high school this year and who want to go into musical theater, because these kids, they want to get to that professional level really quickly, and they don't realize that it is going to take time. Like you have to really, you have to be patient. And
once you achieve something that I learned is like, once you achieve your dream, the work doesn't stop there. You continue to grow. Like I've continued to grow my voice. Like I started studying with Matt Farnsworth. I love that studio, and he's worked with many Elphabas. I was like, I want to work with him. I want to get even more specific. Like obviously I can sing this role, but how can I be even better? You know what I mean? How can I do this moment even better? And it doesn't happen on the first try. It doesn't. And that's another important thing. And you have to have a mantra, and you have to have positive self-talk, and you have to love yourself, because
sure,
you ain't gonna love yourself. How in the hell is anyone gonna love you? Or wait, no, I said it wrong. You do, Paul. Oh my God, I feel like a disaster right now.
But it's like along the lines.
It was along the lines, but oh my God, RuPaul fans, don't shun me.
Along the lines. You were there. You were there.
I was there. I was in the moment.
Yeah. Yes. So what song are you most looking forward to people hearing? What Elphaba song are you most looking forward to people hearing when you debut as Elphaba?
Um, I love them all. I really love No Good Deed. It's like my favorite part of the show.
Yes.
I actually just worked on it yesterday, and that was super cool. Um, it's like my favorite song in the show. And it's not always about like the vocal gymnastics, because they're actually like don't want you to do that. It's more about like the feeling, and I just feel excited to step into that side of Elphaba, and like really do it. I also love The Wizard and I, but like I've loved The Wizard and I since I was like 13. So
They're
like,
so different.
yeah, it's like,
different.
it really is like the coolest character arc besides Elwood's, but
Hey, yes. So, fun question. If you could choose anyone to be Glinda opposite you, any past Glinda to be Glinda opposite you, who would you choose?
I was gonna say, like, there are a lot of my friends that I'm like, I would love you to be my Glinda, but a past Glinda, I don't know. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. Like,
Okay.
I really have to think about that. That is something that you very much surprised me with that I've never thought of. I have to see like who. I know a couple people who have played it, obviously, like the big ones, but I want to know like everyone who's played it before I make a final answer. Like, I need to go look at the Glinda chart and be like, okay, so who actually plays Glinda? Because I don't follow it that hard, like I don't know every person that's played Glinda.
It's the name, it's the faces, not the name thing.
Yes, exactly. I'm literally like,
I know the faces, not the names.
Exactly. Well, also, like, I mean, I can't even quote RuPaul correctly today, but like, also, I feel like whoever it ends up being is going to be the right thing because they pair people up so well.
Yeah.
But my friend Morgan is like super cool, and like I feel like she'd be great. Also, my friend Maddie is really good and talented, and like we're similar heights, so I'm like,
So why do you think that Wicked has lasted for as long as it has on both Broadway and tour?
It's a timeless story with a lot of themes in it that are very relatable to how the world is growing itself.
Yes.
Wow, did those words pour out or what? But yeah, they
absolutely.
I feel like it's very pertinent to what's going on in the world, and it's like, we have so much going on this year, but also before we have always like ebb and flowing with like a lot of things, and this story is very timeless. Like it's very relatable, and I think especially after this year and a half, it's a story that needs to be told.
Absolutely. And the female empowerment in the show, it's like no other show really that you still. It's the friendship, just like by for good, you're bawling.
Yeah. I think because everyone knows that, yes. Everyone has that, which is really cool. Yeah.
And kind of speaking on that, to wrap up on Wicked, why should people come see the tour?
Well, I think it's cool. Like, Broadway and tour are very different, but they're the same in the different way. Like, I think they're two different experiences. Like, it's the same story, but like when you're going to New York and seeing a Broadway show, it's different than the tour because the tour is like reaching out to like different communities within the US, which is super cool, to people who might not be able to come to New York. And I think that's really important to bring our craft and our musical theater to different parts of the world. And for people to get out and see shows and just escape for a minute, and learn something and be changed by the story in some way. Yeah. So I think that's what's really important with the tour, and like why people should come out and see it, but also see Broadway because they also have a really good show too. Like, this company is strong, tour and Broadway.
I mean, yeah, the casting team, they are incredible. And after this past year, especially, like, as you were saying, like, people need the show, I feel like.
Yeah, and I think we're going to have, like, it's going to be really exciting to see how to see who is next for the Elphabas too, and for the Glindas, and to see like how everything grows, you know. So I'm really stoked for it. Yeah.
Yes. So what's on your theater bucket list?
Theater bucket list. Okay, so I would give you like top 3 roles that I want to play.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 if I'm like feeling it. Kathy in the last 5 years.
Yes.
Ariel in The Little Mermaid before it's too late. Please.
Yes. I'd be down.
I really want to be Christine in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Ooh.
Down the line, I want to be in Sweeney Todd, Mrs. Lovett. Duh. I want to get that thing out. Bang those cockroaches, okay?
Yeah.
And I also would love to be in like a fun show like Spam-A-Lot, to be like Lady of the Lake and be like super goofy. I love comedy and I love doing that stuff. So I would really love to like get my comic chops on.
I mean, and you have that experience from the Full House parody and from other stuff you've done. So like, I mean, that's a big skill.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love it. That's like the most fun is like comedy, which is why Glinda is so fun, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
she's hilarious.
I mean, comedic timing. I feel like I've talked to people who played those like comedy roles on stage, and it's like hard to figure out and hard to get the hang of. But once you have it mastered, it's like such an important skill that a lot of people don't really have.
Yeah, people say like comedy can be taught, but I feel like if you watch enough of it, like catch on.
Yeah. And I mean, everyone in the theater industry catches on so quickly to everything. Like,
yeah, I feel like you can learn comedy, but I don't know. I think people that like know comedy are like, you can't learn this, but I think you can. Yeah.
I mean, you all in the theater industry learn like 10 different roles per show, so like,
yeah.
I mean, y'all can do anything.
Exactly.
So, who inspires you in the theater world as an actress?
Wow. Like other actors, I mean, there are a lot of directors that inspire me. Ooh. Like D.B. Bonds really inspires me. Matt Kunkel, Casey Hushin. She's worked on The Prom and like Mean Girls. She's Casey Nicola's girl. Lisa Laguio. Like, I think it's more like directors that I've worked with that really inspire me because they want me to go deeper than I ever thought I could. And I think that that's really cool to like teach someone. So like those specific people really hold like a really special place in my heart. And if you're listening, those are resident directors. And so you should check them out if you want to get to know more about them. But you know, I would say every show that I've done and every cast that I've worked with throughout the years, those people have really inspired me to keep pushing forward. Even the people that weren't so nice, because it really has taught me something, you know, about myself, about my triggers, you know, also about inspiring your friends and surrounding yourself with people that support you and love you and will lift you up in the room of an opportunity, you know. So I want to give a shout out to all those people that I've done shows with over like the past, 15 years, and like everything that you've taught me, because it's really important to like look at your life in that way and show gratitude, even for like the things that you're like, you know.
Yeah. You're like, maybe I wish that didn't happen, but you're like, actually that taught me like a life experience or a life lesson that I needed to know.
Exactly. Yeah.
I like the director answer though, because I don't think anyone's ever said that the directors of shows inspire them, but it makes total sense.
Yeah. I mean, and Joe Mantello, like coming here and like talking about the opening number, I literally was like, is this real? Is this a dream? I was like, wow, I can do so much more. I'm so excited.
Oh my goodness. Like, I mean, how inspiring to be in a room with them.
I know. I literally was like, every day I was like, but I had my mask on so you couldn't see, but I was like,
yeah, believe this is happening. Look, I'm so glad I have my mask on so that no one can see my face. I mean, masks come in handy sometimes for when you're like trying not to, like when you're trying to play it cool, but you can't play it cool.
Well, because of the COVID rules, yeah, we had to wear the mask. Yeah.
And you're like, comes in handy.
Comes in handy when like I'm tired and I'm yawning.
That too.
But not when I like want to throw a smile at someone, because like, you know, when you're acting, you can only do so much with your eyes. You're like,
yeah. I mean, that too. Like, it does. Like, I don't always love them, but they do come in handy.
Yes.
Like, we need to keep them around for things, for certain things.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier, like way earlier in this, which I loved, that you slayed at one of your auditions. And I wanted to ask, how do you work on self-confidence in such a tough industry? Because it's a hard thing to develop in any industry, I feel like, but the theater industry, especially, like going into auditions, waiting for so long, being told no for some of these auditions, it's hard.
Yeah, I mean, I meditate every day. I have my mantras. I have my people that I contact when I'm feeling nervous. I definitely carry some crystals with me. Ooh. I prepare. I'm prepared, not scared. You know, like I'm not showing up like, oh my God, I haven't even practiced this cut yet. And I'm just gonna like try it out in the room. Like some people do that and I'm like, go to town. But like, you know, I've like rehearsed this, you know. I think it's just about being humble, but also like carrying yourself in the room, knowing that you can do this and be in the show. And auditioning is something that I really love. So I really like miss it when I'm out on a show. Weirdly, like I love auditioning.
I was gonna say,
I love it. I think it's really fun. I think you can recreate yourself in every situation. I think it's fun that you get to put on different outfits for it. I love carrying a suitcase around the city. I love seeing all my friends at the auditions and then getting the warm-up room and running around and being like, well, I make the dance call, you know, but like, I just love the fight or flight a little bit. And maybe that's not so good, but like, it's just like, you know, you have to really do the work, have your rep book ready, be prepared, know your cuts, and just slay the material and go and do your best and set goals for yourself. Set goals for yourself like, hey, I'm going to look at these people in the eye when I say hello to them. I'm not just gonna be like, hi. Hey, my name's Serena. So nice to meet you today. And like mean it, you know, and just show up for yourself in a grounded way that you've never done that before, you know, and continuing to find how you ground yourself, you know.
I like the small goals because like the small goals, the like looking someone in the eye, etc., is something that's really hard. But like
even like telling the piano player the tempo, hey, I'm going to really make sure I'm not letting my nerves kick in and we're going to give a good tempo and we're not going to snap at the piano player, you know. Like, you know, we're gonna do this together. And I think those small goals build up to what you want to be, but it's not gonna happen all at once.
Yes. I mean, we're so like this technology world, there's pluses and there's like, and there's cons to it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I feel like we kind of like lose our way of communicating sometimes within the world of technology because we're all so busy texting and like on social media.
Highly recommend putting the phone down. I tend to have days where I have like a million stories and I'm like, yeah, Instagram. But then like some days I just like, well, I won't touch it for like 2 days, like truly. And I really, really highly recommend journaling, doing The Artist's Way, which is a book by Julia Cameron, if you're feeling creatively blocked, and meditating. And if you need a little app, if you're like, oh, I can't do that, 5 minutes a day. Ooh. There's an app called Breathe with a cloud smiling. It asks you how you're feeling and it gives you 5-minute meditations for people who don't like meditations. you sit there and you do it, and then all of a sudden you're like, I need to do 20 minutes, like in like a month, because you're like, wow, I needed that peace of mind, you know?
Yes.
So highly recommend that.
Oh my gosh, love that. I'm gonna have to download this app because I'm so
I
ADHD.
will send it to you. I'm gonna send it to you.
Oh my god, I'm so ADHD and I like never stop and I'm always on my phone. So I mean, when
It's a real addiction thing. Like,
it is. It's horrible.
it is, and we all struggle with it in this society because, I mean, have you seen like the Social movie where they talk about like
Yes.
how they make it addicting for people? Anyway, we don't even get into that, but
I mean, and a lot of it is so toxic too.
mhm,
So it's like you need to take those breaks because
exactly,
eventually you get to like the toxic side of social media.
exactly.
Speaking of social media, I mean, sometimes we love it, sometimes we don't. Where can people find you on social media?
Well, thank you for asking, Becca, because I'm trying to get that blue check mark. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
But I am on Instagram at EIFE22.
Yes, Instagram, blue check mark.
Blue check mark. We're trying to get
Come on,
there.
Insta.
Only 10,000 more to go.
Come on, Insta. So, lastly, do you have anything that you've been working on in the past year that's not Wicked related, that like whether it's singing or not, that you'd want to talk about?
Yeah, I opened up a tarot divination crystal company this year called Eife Elevations, and if anyone's interested in getting a tarot reading, I actually had to take a pause on everything while I was getting acclimated to being on tour again, because it's a little cuckoo. Like, you know, just picking up your life after a pandemic and going on the road. But I'm going to be starting again this month after my birthday. And you can follow me there too. I give like really fun tips for like clearing energy and like bringing in crystal energy and how to, excuse me, work with the crystals and the tarot cards. And I do like fun readings, and sometimes I do donation-based readings. So you can see all that stuff on the page, and I would be happy to open up about all that stuff. Yeah.
Oh, that kind of goes along with like what's your hidden talent question.
Yeah.
That's an interesting talent there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Pick that up.
Well, I feel like I've always known that I can do this, but I finally learned about it in college, about numerology and tarot and like psychic abilities, which we all have, but it's like tapping into those. And, you know, just identifying what those are and like spiritual worlds. And I've always like really loved scary movies and ghosts and Halloween too. So like there's that, you know.
Hey,
but
Halloween's coming up. It's September. Yes, you're like one of my friends who like loves Halloween. She's like, happy Halloween on September 1st. And I'm like, it's not Halloween yet.
I've been celebrating for this past month in August, so.
Hey.
But I didn't tell anyone because now we can unleash the Halloween. It's September.
Do you dress up the dogs and stuff too?
Oh yeah. Well, actually, before I go, you want to say hi to Bro?
Yes.
And then I'm gonna have to scoot because
Yes.
I have to take him out. Bro, say hi to everybody.
Oh my gracious.
Say hello.
No.
Yeah,
Oh,
you ready to go for a
you
walk?
are the cutest thing. Oh my goodness.
Anyway, I'm gonna have to head out, Becca,
Yeah.
but thank you so much for having me today.
Of course.
You're a dream.
Thanks for watching this episode of Backstage with Becca B. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca B Talks TV. Or for more exclusive content from this interview and more, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Backstage with Becca B. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video, or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, go ahead and give me a 5-star rating. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!